And that's the mission of Israel on a national level. That, we are to be that testimony in the eyes of the world. Our very existence is to be that testimony in the eyes of the world, which is why smack in the middle of the narrative of the 10 plagues, of the destruction of Egypt and the redemption of the nation of Israel, we find this really strange verse in a really strange place. So here's the verse, Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. God spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, "This month shall be for you the beginning of the months. It shall be for you the first months of the year." Right? So think about it. In the middle of the most dynamic and suspenseful story of revelation and redemption in world history, actually not in the middle, more towards the climax of it, really, God interjects a directive about our calendar. Right? Why? What is that all about? Now, please, Hashem, help me here. This day has been so crazy, and I really tried to weave this together in a coherent way. I really hope it makes sense, but I'm trying. Now, you can tell a lot of things about a person and really a nation by their calendar, the days that they celebrate and the cycles that they mark. For example, I don't know if you know this, but the Stalin-led Soviet government sought to integrate their atheism into every facet of society, to reimagine, right, the way things could be. Does that sound familiar to you? Reimagining everything. They tackled the calendar too, to infuse their atheism in the calendar. So the solar calendar made sense to them. The division of the months within the calendar, that made sense. But they felt like the week being 7 days was arbitrary and had religious origins. And by the way, it also left their machines sitting idle and decreasing productivity. So they made a 5-day work week, and everybody was assigned different colors that they took their day off. And so it separated families from each other, and it wreaked havoc on the country. And it lasted 11 years, but it was a dismal failure. It's quite a story, actually, but it fell apart. And man just couldn't function without a basic 7-day work week, or 7-day week like that Hashem laid out in Bereshit in Genesis. But anyways, we learned that this month that the Jewish people find themselves in during the final plague was the month of Nisan. And as the verse we just quoted, this will be the head of the months, right? HaChodesh hazeh, Rosh Chodashim. At least it'll be the head of the months for the Jewish people. Right? Are you with me? The Rebbe explains the difficulty here beautifully. We know that the beginning of the year is when? Right? What's the beginning of the year, the head of the year? Literally the translation of those words, Rosh Hashanah, the first of Tishrei. That's when the year became 5782, the year that we're in now. So we know that Tishrei is Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. So why in chapter 23 of Leviticus does it say, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, on the 1st of the month, it shall be a Sabbath for you, a remembrance of Israel through the shofar blast, a holy occasion." Right? So according to that year, to the Nisan redemptive calendar from our Torah portion, it says that Tishrei, which we know the first month is actually the 7th month. So what is it? Is it Tishrei? Is it Nisan? So the Rebbe explains that both of these days, the 1st of Tishrei and the 1st of Nisan, are both called heads, right? But Tishrei is called the head of the year, and Nisan is called the head of the months. And so to the Jewish people, we actually have two simultaneous heads, right? Tishrei, which is the head of the year where we mark the creation of the universe, the creation of the material world, and the creation of all of mankind, the creation of nature. That is Rosh Hashanah. That is when we join the rest of humanity, right? In asking that Hashem inscribe us and all of mankind into the book of life. So where Tishrei is marking the beginning for all of humanity of Rosh Hashanah, Nisan is very particular to the Jewish people, right? It's the beginning of Jewish time, when we became a nation with a mission, with a mission that's just tied unbelievably with the very name and essence of Hashem himself. The Rebbe explains that we're like, well, in my words, I guess, like we're dual citizens, right? We share our basic common humanity with all of mankind, and we mark the natural world and the laws of nature on Rosh Hashanah and Tishrei, but we're also citizens of our own unique history, of our own story, right? A history that rises above the natural world, a history which is governed by miracles, where our very existence in the world today is a miracle, and that is Nisan. That is our own special, particular Rosh Hashanah. Passover is, I guess you could say, Passover is the Rosh Hashanah for the Jewish people. And that, by the way, is why Hashem revealed himself to us at Mount Sinai as the God who took us out of Egypt from the house of slavery. We're standing at Mount Sinai. Why not introduce himself as the God who created heaven and earth? The answer is because at Sinai, God was not just speaking to us merely as a people, but he was relating to us as his people, his supernatural people, his supernatural nation that bears his supernatural name. But nonetheless, we are still first and foremost people. We are people. We're just human beings. And so we have one foot in each world, and we go by both calendars together, simultaneously. We don't only live in both worlds, we don't just inhabit both dimensions. Our mission is to bring them together, right? To fuse them, to transform the natural world by merging it with the holiness and the spirituality and the godliness. That's our mission. So I don't know if you've heard Rabbi Jacobson. He teaches these teachings from the Rebbe, and he says that God created the Jew. He just beautifully puts it as a hybrid, right? As a hybrid of the Nisan and Tishrei realities, to not only mark both calendars, but to fully live within them, both to live in the Tishrei and in the natural and in the supernatural, and bridge these seemingly opposite worlds of the natural and the holy. Our mission is to bring the world to a place that's described by the prophet Zechariah, by Yom HaHu Yeh Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. On that day, Hashem will be one and his name will be one.
This highlight was taken from the Land of Israel Fellowship. Every week, hundreds of families from literally around the world come together on our live Zoom sessions to strengthen each other, to inspire each other, and to learn Torah from the Land of Israel, in which we connect the dots between the Bible, the Hebrew language, and the confusing events of our times. Go to www.thelandofisrael.com/fellowship or click on the link below to join. Thank you.